So what do you do when Victorinox finally responds to years of customer feedback that we wanted locking blades and pocket clips? Well, they finally respond and we finally have to purchase all three. I started with buying this 3-layer tool and instantly went back and placed another order. I wanted one of each iteration and each color. So here I have the 1-layer tool, which is the Onefold at $56. I got it in white. Here we have what's called the Synergy, a name I do not like. To me, it sounds like some kind of, I don't know, scammy infomercial for some dicey healthcare proposition or something. I don't know. I don't like it, but here it is. It's the Synergy, 2 layers in red. This one is $78. I got it from the Swiss knife shop in New Hampshire. And here we have the 3-layer, which is the Synergy XX, because of course it includes the scissor layer. And I have that in blue, $96. So I thought I would just share the tool sets and kind of go over my thoughts about each, compare them against some other similar tools, at least for my collection. First, I'll say it came in this box, which is distinct from how boxes have long looked outside of special limited editions. It's kind of nice. It's kind of matte. I don't know if that makes it seem kind of earthy, but the point is it's different. And good job, Victorinox. We love when you kept things the same, but we also love a new iteration of things. So these are stupid little boxes that may or may not go in my big stupid box full of way too many stupid little boxes that all of my tools and knives come in. So let's go ahead and get these out of the way. So for this 1-layer tool, we just have the knife, and it has the back lock as usual, or slip joint. It's not a back lock. We have this slip joint back here to maintain some tension, but so that it doesn't fold forward like usual, then we have the liner lock, and you can see it says press there. We press and we close. Unlike this Wenger version, the EvoGrip S17, 2-handed open, but I can reasonably 1-hand close there. However, the tension on this and that snap from that slip joint is such that you are not going to want to do this and fold it forward, because once you overcome that tension point, in all probability, it's going to want to slam down on your finger. So 2-hand open, 2-hand close. I don't understand on this one why they did not include a secondary small tool next to it. They certainly did it with the other iterations, maybe just so that they could call it Onefold. But a second little tool would have been great. For example, the Bantam, which I really like here. This is an 85 versus 91. These are all 91mm tools. They include this secondary little tool that we're all so familiar with. I love how slim this thing is. This will fit inside of my big skinny wallet as if it's like a credit card. You're not going to do that here. Of course, you have the pocket clip. That's the point. I'll add that John Gadget noted the pocket clip seems a little light there, maybe a little weak and too easy to be bendy. We just have to hope their R&D was good, because it is not replaceable. And it's got that typical high gloss to Victorinox, so it fits. It's not what I would normally want in a pocket clip, but it fits the product. And I will say it glides over my pocket beautifully. So unless you snag it on something like crazy, that light flex in it actually makes it such a pleasure to pull in and out of your pocket. So that's good. So I like that this is slimmer because it goes in my wallet, but here we have a pocket clip. It doesn't need to be that slim. So just fine, just fine. I will, just for giggles, again, for comparison's sake on weight. Oh, excuse me, what do we have here? 18.92 versus this 1-layer 10.2. So quite a profound difference in weight there. And let's move on to the next tool. Sorry if I'm going to mumble through this, but like I said, I'm just so excited to share with you guys. So this one like I was mentioning before, they did manage to throw a secondary tool on the blade layer, which is the nail file and nail cleaner. And then in the next layer, we have what we've grown to expect, but just ever so slightly different. We have the typical bottle cap lifter, wire stripper, flathead, but here instead of the can opener with a little mini flathead, similar to the compact, not the compact, the companion, we've got the package opener. Side note, Anne over at the Vine Climber just posted yesterday that TSA would not let even the bladeless version of the new Alox tools go through because of the serrations on this. So don't think that that bladeless version will be happy tag along with you when you fly. So to compare this, let's go ahead and weigh this one also. We have 26.65 ounces. Sorry for people that measure things in grams, but here we are. Probably pretty similar is this companion as a 2-layer tool, and we have 22.7 ounces. I guess the trade-off here is Celador versus Alox. Here you get your plus scales, so you get the pen, you've got your corkscrew so you can put in your little mini drivers. That's really nice. And, you know, in reality, the weight feels very similar. So in this case, it's like, do you want the locking blade? Do you want the pocket clip? Or do you want these extra tools? In the shorter package, similar tool set might be something like the, I believe this is the Sportsman, even shorter still. And of course the Cadet is very, very similar. Quite a lot thinner. Let's measure that for giggles again, just to compare. And this does not include the pocket clip, mind you, but just the thickness. The 91, 92 millimeter ones have thicker tool stock, so that's part of the width difference. So this is about 12 millimeter. Look, I'm doing weight in ounces and linear dimensions in millimeters, and this is 8.3. So quite a lot thicker. Let's go ahead and pull these blades out. Again, just for those of you that aren't familiar about the differences, you can see it's quite a bit longer and quite a bit thicker, so that's nice. All right. Let me add another comment as far as talking about trade-offs between the Celador with the scale tools versus the Alox for, you know, slim factor. Let's look at these two tools from Civivi. We've got the Baby Banter and we have the Sendy. And guess what? Both of them have these scale tools being tweezers and toothpicks. So if these guys can pull off putting it inside of these scales, I say Victorinox should be able to find a way to go ahead and get them inside of their Alox scales. Call me nuts. I forgot to mention, I think it's because of the slip joint, but here's just, you know, I'm so used to being able to not just open with one hand, but also close with one hand. And again, that's just not going to be possible because of that back spring tension. All right, let's go to number 3. Here, of course, we have the scissor layer. It's that much wider. Great, you know, Victorinox 91 millimeter scissors. And you know what, call me crazy, but some of these aren't exactly 91, 92, 85. So if I say it's a millimeter off from reality, just know that sometimes they're a millimeter off from their own listed claim, at least if my measuring tools are to be believed. So really great scissors, consistent with, where's that thumb nick here on the scissors, forgive me. There we go, it's a little dark in here. It's winter, you know, it's getting dark as soon as I get home from work. So very much the same situation as on the Pioneer X here. Pioneer X I just brought out because it's a pretty consistent size in length, in width. Of course, the difference here in the secondary tool and the blade layer is this reamer. And here, of course, you're going to have the typical can opener versus the package opener. So just a comp there. Here, again, you have a 3-layer tool. This one is quite very much the same, except for the difference between Alox and Celador for your plus tools. Doing measurements, I found that there's about a 1.8 millimeter difference between like tools if it's Alox versus Celador. So let me just pull this out to make sure I'm right about this. If the blade stock is the same thickness, it is not. It's just about the same length, but it's not quite as thick. So same, but different. All right, so what are my other random little thoughts? You know, I'd started my love affair with Victorinox, and then I had really moved more and more into carrying a locking blade. I know in some parts of the world that's not doable, but I really liked having a pocket clip and a locking blade, and Victorinox just wasn't offering that to me in a kind of small to medium form factor that I wanted. You know, or I had gone to something like Roxxon, again, because of a locking blade, likewise with a liner lock and this little clip. And so I'm just so excited to be able to go back to my roots and return to Victorinox. I have so many knives and tools in my collection. I won't use them all the time, but I do think these look quite great. I think they look quite elegant. Man, I will say, again, side note, none of this was scripted, so forgive me. Maybe they carved this out just for aesthetics. Maybe they did it just to shave some weight. But to me, all I see here is an opportunity for pocket dust and grime to more readily intrude in there. So to me, that's a fail. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean when you've got a well-pocketed Swiss Army knife, it gets full of all the gunk in there. So, I don't know, have I covered all the bases? Sorry, the scale is new, measuring things is new. I'm not usually that geeky, so I hope this hasn't been too disjointed, but go get one of them at least. They're just quite a novelty, if nothing else. I've heard some people say, you know, for what they are, maybe it's too much money. Maybe, but it's Victorinox, and you're going to get a quality and fit and finish there that's really nice. You're getting legacy there. I don't know. For me, I'm just happy to support the company. I'm happy to support any company I can afford to support right now, because these are trying times. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know considerations that I've overlooked. Let me know your opinions. Let me know which you would like the best. I'm excited for myself, and I'm excited to hear from you as well. All right, cheers.